Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. God bless you all so much. I'm so honored to be here with all of you today. And today we have a very special guest. I want to say hello to all of our Liberty Nation. God bless you all. I want you to stop right now. Liberty Nation, text your brothers and sisters. Tell them get on. It's network night. It's time to join us. Share this now on your page. Stop and share it now. God bless you, Pastor Chablais from San Diego. So good to see you. Um, Make sure all of this broadcast is on all the pages and on your pages, because we're about to have a great discussion today. All right. And for those who don't catch it now, make sure to tell them later, because this is going to be worth your while. I promise you. All right. So today we have a special guest. I was so honored to well, I didn't just meet her, I met her through, I'm sure you all can guess, Apostle Prude. Um, but she is the daughter-in-law to Apostle Prude. But I don't know how long ago it is I met her, but I've had the privilege of having a couple of conversations with her, and particularly, I was recently in Cleveland speaking for Apostle Prude, and I had the privilege of her armor bearing with me, and she was so gracious and so considerate, and we were able to have some really stimulating conversation to and from the venues. And so that conversation really prompted me to ask her if she would come and be with us, which is why I want you, God bless you all. I want to say hello. God bless you, Apostle Marion, Serena, Tara, Rashida. God bless you all. Listen, share this on your page. This is going to be a real good discussion, y'all. I'm telling you, don't miss it. Post it. Help us by posting and letting other people know that we're live. And I'm going to let her tell you her credentials. God bless you, Janice. She is a learned and a trained woman of God, not just spiritually, but also clinically. Okay. And so we're going to have a conversation today about life happens, and we're going to talk about, but we're going to deal with so many things that deal with the soul and deal with how we must care for the soul, to get knowledge for the soul. One of the things that our late Apostle Clifford E. Turner taught us was that we are to help people get their lives back. And so Liberty Nation, these network nights and all the things that we do are all about you experiencing whole life success, that you have success in your spirit, that you have success in your soul, that you have success in your finances and in your relationships and everything that concerns you. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to talk about raising our children, parenting, mental health, all of those different things. So I want you all to, normally we bring her up. I'm not sure what happened, but she's already here. So normally, you would be waiting backstage, but since you're already here, I want everyone to just give a liberty. I want you all in the comments, give a liberty welcome to what is your correct title?
So just call me Yolanda.
Okay, Yolanda Prude. Oh, come on, y'all, welcome her. Welcome her in the comments. Let's welcome her. Yes, it's going to be a treat, Wanda. Yes, it is. It's going to be a treat. So you all pass this on. So Yolanda, we're gonna jump right into it. Our conversation is about our conversation, I want to start off to tell the audience a little bit about your testimony and just kind of how some of this came about. And again, I want you to tell them what your training is in.
Mhm.
But this started because we had a discussion, and I even preached a message when I was there last week about soul versus spirit. And people of God, what I've seen in my 61 years is that a lot of us have attempted to ride the spirit and override the soul.
Whew.
And our spirit, the spirit realm is real and has its power, but the soul, as a man thinketh, so is he. And
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
soul is really the driver of our ultimate success. And so we have to pay attention to our soul. So tell us, uh, first of all, because I'm so excited, I don't know where to start. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your testimony.
Oh, cool. First of all, I just want to say I'm super excited to be here. We call her Auntie Dar in Cleveland because she comes and she just drops the mic on us every time, and we so appreciate and love her so much. And so, a little bit about my testimony. I actually got into this situation was because of the fact that I've been a social worker forever, like social work, chemical dependency, was actually my license and my background is where my credentials come from. And I kind of stumbled into the mental health realm mainly because of my own issues. And so when I think about my title, I always tell people I have lived experience. My credentials is, my training is definitely what it is, but I actually had life lessons that taught me more about mental health and substance abuse and being broken, my soul being broken. Being a PK kid, I was always taught to suck it up. As they say, suck it up, buttercup. You can figure it out as you go through because the spirit is going to carry you through.
Right.
But my soul was jacked up. Married for 15 years, divorced. My kids lived in deplorable conditions. I was tasked of taking people's children, making decisions over people's lives, and I was completely broken. Um, and so I had a conversation with the Lord one day, and He was like, "You know what to do. You got to do some things a little differently. You got to fix your soul." And so I walked into this work doing exactly that, figuring out how to fix myself. In a process of how it sparked me helping other folks figure out how to fix themselves as well. And so, Auntie, when you talked last Sunday about that soul, and we had that conversation, I was like, that's it. People are, and you made a comment and you said, people are not spiritually wounded. Your soul is wounded. And
Right.
I was like, that's it. That's
Wow.
it.
So, family, are you all hearing? Because there's some of you that are listening that your soul is wounded, and some of us have been wounded for decades or wounded our whole life because we have not dealt with a whole lot of issues, and so
Mhm.
we have evolved into people that we think is us, but it's actually us as a result of the wound that has never been dealt with. All right, and so this is an alarm from God to let you know that that anger, that depression, that oppression, those what am I trying, now I want to say bipolar behaviors, extremities,
Yeah.
extreme behaviors that you may have up and down, all these things, the torment that goes on in your mind.
Mhm.
We want you to begin to understand that, because because tell me, Yolanda, because of course we've been taught in the church so much that we just think the next fast, the next prayer, the next conference, the next prophet is going to fix our soul issues.
And that is not the truth because the work has to be done by you. All of that stuff is there, but here comes the biggest catch, Auntie. I think folks don't even realize that their soul is wounded. Like that becomes a thing. Do you even know what your signs and symptoms are? Like you say, are you aware of the fact that you angry 27? My kids used to tell me all the time that I was a yeller. I was a yeller because I grew up in a household full of boys. So I identified as that being my thing. So my anger was just me saying I grew up with boys. No, my anger was because my soul was broken. I had some
Oh,
issues. I had some stuff.
okay, so So what I just heard was a lot of times we will wrongly assign and attribute behavior to something we've self-diagnosed, which is actually a deeper problem in our soul. It reminded me of my daughter. She said that she was watching an Oprah show and they were talking about the thyroid and they were saying how the thyroid would make you gain weight. So she just decided that the thyroid was her problem, the reason why she gained weight. But then of course my mother took her to get a test and they said you don't have no thyroid problem. Okay.
Mhm.
And so she had to conclude, okay, it's my problem. I need to watch what I'm eating. I need to have more self-discipline. Okay, so you've established with us that okay, we got to do our soul work, but you said something about we don't know the signs that our soul needs help. Can you give us a few of the signs that those listening can know that maybe we need some soul work to do?
Yeah. Anything that is causing you, well, sadness. If you are feeling sadness, you're crying, anger, frustration, emptiness, loneliness. If these things are happening 4 weeks or longer, that means there's some soul stuff need to be done. That you shouldn't be, this should not be an everyday occurrence. We all have moments, right? Moments
Right.
happen, but if they're lasting 4 weeks or longer, if you're sad for a whole entire month, and there is really like no grief. It's not because of grief. It's not because you lost a loved one, but you're sad if you're crying. I cried for literally almost a year straight and was like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. No. And I did that while I was married. So imagine the
Mhm.
turmoil that it caused in my marriage to be crying every single day, right? And so, no, 4 weeks or longer, any type of sign and symptom, anxiety, frustration, you're overeating, not eating enough, you're not having good sleep, you're not drinking enough water. All these things are telltale signs that something is going on with your soul. Physical health issues, hypertension, all of that. Something is going on with your soul.
Hypertension can be an indication something is going on with your soul.
Yes. So I just lost her name, but there is oh shoot, I forgot her name. I have to give it to you later. But yes, they do these things called ASAs, adverse childhood experiences. And they talk about how they can literally relate physical illness, especially for the African American community, back to physical disabilities, hypertension, diabetes, heart attacks, strokes. They can relate that all the way back to our unhealthy mental health.
There's a spiritual book called Be in Health. I don't know if you've heard of that. And it
Mhm.
actually talks about and connects those things to the physical manifestations of having the soul wounds and what it
Mhm.
turns into. It's called Be in Health, you all. And I remember we
Good.
got it years ago. Wow. So now so you went through you said you were angry, you were yelling, you had to deal with your soul issues. How did you deal with that?
I actually did some self care. I got myself together. I did stuff for me. Self care is selfish. It's about really figuring out how to fix yourself, to the point to where I really had to stop listening to other people and become silent. Had to come quiet. I had to deal with me, good, bad, and ugly. I had to do some stuff for me. Self care. I had to look at myself. And so I meditated, I wrote, I went for walks, I lost weight, I exercised, I did so many different things for me, which was self care.
So
And I
how
saw a
would
therapist.
somebody
I did see a
okay,
therapist.
and you did see a therapist. Okay.
Yes.
So how would you direct someone who's listening today? That
I
how
would
would they start that journey?
I would first tell them if they're not afraid. You mentioned something that was so good, Auntie, when you ministered. You talked about the Catholics got something right, confession, right? And you
Right.
said they confess your sins one to another. So I would say you first start by talking to someone you trust. Go get some wise counsel. Have some conversation with someone that you can actually trust to have a conversation with you that's going to give you some wise counsel. And from there, start dealing with the things because some wise counsel will give you some things to do. Self care. Once again, I do self care every single day. That's how I continue to stay mentally and my soul stays healthy.
Oh my God. Did y'all hear that for all of you people who don't do nothing for yourself? I'm not gonna say no names. I think it's prophetic. Some folks on coming up on the screen right now. I'm not gonna say nothing. Okay. There are some people that don't can't even remember what they like to do. Now, we talked a little bit about this too. People of God, grooming is not self-care. I want you to
Right.
know the difference between, oh, I went to go get my hair done and my nails done. That's grooming. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about self-care. Could
Mm-hmm.
you please tell them what self-care is versus grooming?
So this is how I always teach it. Self-care is something you have to do at least 3 times a week. 3 times a week. You have to do it intentionally, and it has to be something that doesn't always cost you money. So self-care can be, have you read a new book lately about some things you need to change in your life? She just talked about a book. Go get that book and read it. Have you got a budget for your finances so you no longer be spending money unnecessarily? Have you went on that walk that you need to go on to because you're talking about you need to lose some weight, but do you know the Lord talks to you a lot when you are in silence and walking in the out in the air, getting some air, some fresh air, some sunshine. Maybe even could be serving in your community, giving back, anything that has nothing to do with everyday things that you should be doing. Grooming is something you should do anyway. God
Right.
expects us to be diligent about how our appearance is. So you're right. That's not self-care. But self-care is something you do intentionally, and it has to be something you can do 3 times a week.
And
Cooking a meal.
particularly, it is something that connects to your soul,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And to your soul being improved, being enlarged, being cared for. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
So
Better.
now getting your hair done, because she and I talked about this, getting your hair done can be self-care when your hairdresser is like your therapist, right? Like when going there, it's really not about your hair, it's about you confess. That's
Yes.
why a lot of hairdressers and barbers are like therapists, because people get their freedom when they come
Mhm,
because they talk to them
mhm.
and they become counselors in that chair. So to all you hairdressers and people like that that people talk to, listen, take that position seriously, because you are really doing soul care. And to some degree, it's kind of pastoral in a way. It can be if the right person is sitting, I mean is standing and doing the care.
Yes, that's real good. It gotta be the right person.
It got to be the right person. So tell them a little bit about where your studies are. Rhonda says she needs a raise. That's my hairdresser. She said she need a raise. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your clinical uh, 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 accreditations and all of that, and then I want to go into some like quick fire, some of the subject matters that we're going to be offering for all of you LIN. So tell them a little bit about where your studies have been.
So my background, like I said before, is a little bit. So my background is actually in my conditions are in chemical dependency. I am a chemical dependency counselor by trade, but right now I've gone back to school to get some more credentials. So I'm in school for my master's in public health to kind of help change some of these laws. But I will be entering into my doctorate program as well to get my doctorate in as a psychologist, so that I can have more influence on how we talk about this mental health and issues with the soul in the more spiritual realm, credentials, being able to give some of that balance for world to life to spiritual balance, that our soul is really what's broken. Our spirits, most of us are good, but we forget about that soul part.
Okay, so she has a lot of things that she has been trained in and that she offers services and classes. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of them. And so
Mhm.
I wanted you all to know her and to introduce her. So when you see her on the flyer and we bring her, you will tell everybody about it and even use some of these things evangelistically, because I believe that what God is doing in this season, particularly for LIN, is that we're evangelizing in new and different ways, meaning a lot of our best evangelism is that we're going to be helping solving problems for people in their lives. We're going to
Yeah.
be helping them to get their souls healed, helping them to learn how to
Yes.
parent and their children and create healthy environments. That is one of the best ways that we can evangelize, is to show the power of God and the wisdom of God and the love of God by finding them exactly where they are. So let's talk about, I'm gonna kind of do some spitfire subject matters, okay, that I know that you deal with. Let's talk about parenting, because I had so many of you, LIN, that especially those with young kids, and then some of us have grandkids. But parenting, talk about some of the things that you teach parents. I know you teach parenting 101. What's in parenting 101?
Conflict resolution, how to have a conversation about drugs and alcohol with your children, how to understand, even though we're the parents, you're not always right. And being able to
What?
accept that you're not
I
always right.
thought kids were supposed to be seen and not heard.
No, 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 no. That is rule number no. Like, that is a no. You are not always right. And recognize that they understand what they need, and we have to listen to them to tell us what they need, not what we want for them.
Whoa. Okay. So that was one of the things that really got me when you were talking about some of the parenting skills that you teach. And some of us old school folks, we probably need to go to that class, because you said something about that in your class. You teach about what to say and what not to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to know what things are appropriate to say and what not to say. If me and my daughter, my 16-year-old, are having a conversation and she doesn't agree with me, I have to first be able to listen to what she's saying, because my way, she might be telling me a small little something on why she don't agree, but because I feel like I'm right, I'd have missed it. Her language is not always my language. We don't speak the same language. I'm about to be 50 and she's 16. That's a totally different world of how we speak language. And so understand that language matters. And so you got to stop and listen to the language. You got to listen. What does that mean? I ask her all the time, what does that mean? Because once again, I'm not always right. And if I keep pushing, I'm going to push her the wrong way because I'm not listening. And then when she go to somebody else to listen, they give her wrong counsel. Who is at fault, her or me? It's me.
Why? Because you didn't listen.
Because I didn't listen. She tried to tell me. Because she didn't tell me the way I like to hear it, I missed it. And
Okay.
so I
So
talk a lot about that. Language matters.
Okay, so what about when children are being disrespectful? How do you coach to deal with disrespectful children?
I would first ask, what is disrespectful? Like, why is it disrespectful? Did they yell, cuss, scream? Do they know any other language? What makes that disrespectful? Once again,
Okay.
language matters. Because what makes it disrespectful? That's always my point. Because
Oh,
disrespectful to me or to a kid is totally different.
right.
Cussing might be the only way they have it. I can correct the behavior later. I need to get what you need to say out now, because you
Okay,
might
so
not
if
have another way
someone
to
is
say it.
talking to you, a child, and
Mhm,
they're disrespectful in tone,
mhm.
and like and maybe making sarcastic remarks, how would you tell a parent to handle that?
I would tell a parent, listen, ask them, did I do anything to hurt you? Because
Okay.
most of the time they're hurt by something that's been said to them by you. And that's what I've learned. That most of the time they're not trying to be disrespectful, but they know that I'm not going to listen. And so I have to come off first and say, what have I done to disrespect you? What have I done to hurt you?
So one of the keys, and that's something they teach us in coaching, because coaching is all about not giving people answers, but asking the right questions. So
Mhm.
what I'm hearing is, it sounds like that even in this, it is asking the right question, and listening, so that you can get to the right, conclusion.
Mhm. Yeah. Because if you correct the behavior while it's happening, for most kids, they're gonna automatically shut down because you're muzzling them. You're muzzling them, and they get offended by being muzzled. But I don't want that to happen. I want to get the right information. I want to know what I need to do to intervene to help support. So I'm going to stop the muzzle. I'm going to simply just say, have I offended you? And if I have, I apologize. I want to hear from you. I want us to have this conversation. So tell me what I need to do to have a conversation. One of my son who passed away would always tell me, I need you to sit on the other side of the room for us to have a conversation. I can't look at you in your face. Oh, okay. Well, let me go to the other side of the room.
So that take humility
Mm-hmm.
on the parents' part
Mm-hmm.
to be able to feel disrespected or dishonored, and then to not, because what I just heard you say is don't correct them because they disrespect you or they dishonored you. Ask them the question, apologize
Mhm.
if it, if need be, in terms of if they felt like you were disrespected. Listen for the answer and then later correct the behavior. Is that
Yes,
what I just heard?
that's what you just heard.
Okay. Okay. Are y'all listening? That ain't nothing like black folks. Okay. I'm talking about average, right?
Yes. Oh
Be-
yeah, no, it's not. Everybody look at me like, what? Whatever I teach them, they be like, that's not happening. I got to get them together there. No, because what that does, it breaks the trust. It breaks the opportunity. Me and my kids have such a good relationship because I let them be who they are, because they know eventually after that conversation, they're not gonna do that again because they don't want to hurt me. That stuff
right.
they do know hurts me, but I gotta first, because they kids, they don't know no better. They don't have the coping skills that me as an adult should be able to have and do, right? So when I'm broken, that's the reason why we gotta get our soul together. So we won't be offensive, right, to them and to anybody else. But once we walk in that, guess what? They gonna come correct. They're gonna come back the right way. And my kids have always come back the right way. People ask me why my kids are good because I let them be who they are when they need to be. And if the behavior isn't appropriate, they know mama gonna correct it, but we're gonna have this conversation and then we go get that behavior together later. Because I want you to know you can't enter the world like that. It ain't just about me, it's about entering the world like that.
That is so powerful. And again, but that takes the parents to have a whole soul, like you said. Because if the parent soul is broken, they can't do it. Because if the parent, has a spirit of rejection, have, never felt affirmed, dealing with low self-esteem, and all the
Mhm.
things that our souls deal with, and then it's gonna be hard for them because they're gonna feel so angry and ticked off, at their child, that they don't have the discipline to be able to, handle that in the
Right.
way that you just said. So definitely that's going to take a whole soul to be able to do that, man. That is amazing. Yes, Deanna's always correcting in love, and I've really been trying to grow into that model in terms of, when people make mistakes or make me angry or whatever, I've become a lot more aware of,
Mhm.
it's not about the mistake they made, it's about the soul that's in my hands.
Yes. Yes.
And so you can't be more concerned about the mistake than the soul.
Mm-mm. That's so good. That's so good. Because if you're so concerned about the mistake is going to give them low self esteem. It's going to give
Absolutely.
them a reason to not heal, right? Because they're
Right.
going to always remember themselves to be that one thing. If that mistake is all I am, what am I supposed to do with that for the rest of my life?
And what I heard from what you said too is that type of behavior creates safety and it creates intimacy
Mm-hmm.
between you and your children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we handle it, and trust, then
Mm-hmm.
that's what builds the trust and builds the intimacy, that people feel safe, you know, in our presence. That's so good.
Yeah.
So talk
Because
about, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was going to say, because who else can they be safe? I want my kids to always feel safe and vulnerable with me so that
Right.
I can know what's happening with them and be praying in the spirit for them when they're out of my sight. But if I'm not vulnerable enough and they don't have this as a safe space, they're never going to talk to me. And
Right.
that's why I say correct the behavior later, because if you do it now and they leave the house, that's going to be behavior that they have when they leave.
Wow. And then also we're teaching them to respond the way we responded. And then that becomes their mode of operation, even in their own relationships, which is even worse, which is why the lineage of dysfunctional behavior, really gets passed on.
Yes. Yes.
So you talked a little bit about coping mechanism. Just briefly say what coping mechanisms are.
Coping mechanisms are anything that can take, so you think of it in the sense of risk factors. Risk factors are things like poverty, abuse, neglect, low self-esteem, bad relationships. And so coping mechanisms are those positive things that you do to counteract those risk factors. And so they're like protective factors, like having a spiritual surrounding or a spiritual outlet. Maybe you might write a book or journal. Maybe you might go take walks in the park. Maybe you might exercise. Maybe there might be a song or music you might listen to. So those are coping mechanisms, things that have a positive outcome that doesn't cause any negative outcome, like not going to a bar and drinking with your friends. That's not a coping mechanism. That's a negative outcome.
So what about watching movies? Is that a coping mechanism? Because a lot of people tell me they watch movies for. My husband used to say he watched movies to clear his head.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I watch what I call mindless television. I will say yes, you can use it as a coping mechanism as long as it's not becoming addictive. So it can't be something that's all you do as a coping mechanism. That's the only thing you got. Nope, that's not a coping mechanism. That's an addiction. So you have to do something that's more. It has to be almost something that you do to counteract something. So if I have issues with my mind, like mindlessness, or my mind is racing thoughts all the time, watching television means my mind is going to absorb everything I'm watching. So that's not necessarily a coping mechanism. You might want to journal. You might want to go take a walk. You might have to clear your mind, listen to some music. There's some meditations that you can do.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say you got to pair the right coping mechanism with whatever is going on. So should we intentionally, when we're finding our mind racing, or us maybe wanting to, eat ice cream at 1 a.m., then we do something else instead of that?
Yes.
What would you recommend for maybe those who might be battling with their weight, or eating mindlessly? What would be some of the coping mechanism when I'm hungry and I just want something to eat?
So something simple that we just recently did in our house. So we had a fast we went on, but something I continue to incorporate because we are definitely snackers. Go make a fruit bowl. Get a fruit bowl. Go get some fruit, your favorite fruit you like to eat. And it could be even fruit that you even add some honey to it. You can drizzle some honey across it. Put that bowl in the refrigerator. And when you at that 1 o'clock hour, go grab that fruit bowl out the refrigerator instead of grabbing the chips and the cookies.
That
That's
is so good. I
mhm.
just said that to somebody today. I said I bought some fruit because I need to be snacking on some cherries instead of snacking on this other stuff.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it worked. I made a fruit bowl this week, which I've never done before, and literally it's gone. It was gone in like 3-4 days. The bowl was completely empty. Everybody in the house eating fruit.
Wow. Okay, so we need to be more intentional about coping with the things that we know we might struggle with. So that takes a little bit of planning and strategy to some degree.
Oh, a whole
Knowing
bunch of
yourself.
strategy. Yes, a whole bunch of strategy and planning. That's why I say self-care activities, you have to do them at least 3 times a week, but you got to write them down. That's the part. You got to write them down. So if you know you are a nighttime snacker, why you haven't written that down in your planner to say, listen, when I get up at 1 o'clock, post a sticker somewhere, post it up. I'm good about posting stuff. Post it up. I need to eat some fruit, not no junk food.
Right.
Be intentional.
Right. Wow. Okay, so what about mental health? You talked a little bit about knowing the difference between a mental challenge versus mental illness. How do we know whether we're just having mental challenges, or whether there's really mental illness, whether it's us or somebody we love?
Yeah, so the difference between a mental health challenge and an illness is based on a couple different things. And so one thing, it has to be, as I mentioned before, about that 4 weeks or longer type of activity, but it has to be dysfunction in your life all the way around. Like you can't, like you're no longer enjoying activities. Daily tasks become difficult and hard for you to do, and it lasts over a period of time. So frequency, how often it's happened, duration, how much time of a day is taking away from you, and then also too, what's the impact? Are you not going to work? Are you not hanging out with friends? Are you not going to meetings? Are you isolated in your house? And it has to be a period of over 4 weeks to 6 weeks determines if it's mental illness. And so you have to actually have a period of time to see those things that they haven't changed in your life. That's between a mental health illness and a challenge. A challenge is just having a bad day. We all have some depressive days, some low self-esteem days, but we can get up tomorrow, go to bed, get up tomorrow, and be pretty much okay. But if you
Right.
find out it's lasting longer, frequency, duration, and impact, that's when you know it can be really something you need to go talk to a specialist about.
Okay, so it's frequency. What else?
Duration
Duration
and impact.
and impact.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much of in our lives, whether it's impacting our work, our job, our, you
Your
know,
family. Yep.
our family. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
that's powerful. Okay, last thing, we talked a little bit about projection. Can you explain to everyone what it is and why it's so important?
When you say projection, you mean projecting on other people?
Right, when we project emotions on other people, that basically that's what we do. We project.
Yeah. So being very careful that once again, when your soul is not well, you project your emotions on other people and make it feel like it's their fault, right? Like their situation or your situation is centered around them. Like I used to do to my ex-husband. Everything was always his fault because I wasn't healthy. I wasn't well. I wasn't good. I was this. I wasn't that. And even somewhat to my kids, everything, my job, I projected all of my stuff toward my job, right? It was everybody's fault. So my emotions was everybody's issues. My abuse was everybody else's issue. My low self esteem was everybody else's issue, but my own. But guess what? You got to first look at the man in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at the man in the mirror first and determine, realize that no, everything that happens to your life is not for somebody else's fault. It's really because of some things you've done incorrectly. And you have to do the soul work to fix it.
And I don't know if it's psychologists that say this, but or if it's a specific person to give credit to. I don't know who that would be, but it said that we don't see the world as it is; we see the world as we are.
Who are you?
So if we are angry, we see the world angrily. If
Mhm.
we're offended, then we see offense in everything, right? And so I've learned that and some of you, I want you to be free because there's some people that you might be around that you trying to figure out why is it that everything I say, everything I do, they offended by it. It's like that's not what I meant. Whatever. If you understand that principle, you will free yourself because you got to understand that people who see you a certain way, that is how they are on the inside.
Oh, that's so good, Auntie. Ooh, that's so good. That's good.
So I know whatever you want to add to that.
Yeah, so I would say, who are you? And so I would say, when you get a chance, take a piece of paper and for 60 seconds, write down, who am I? Write down your traits and your personalities, because you're right. What you show up, and I work with a lot of, I do some training for people who work with young folks in the community. And the one thing I always challenge them with is, who does the young folks say you are?
Mm-hmm.
Because you say you one person, but who do they say show up when they see you step in the room? And so who are you? Because once again, if you are that teacher who's always yelling, who always snapping their head, who always has something to say when they say something, that is exactly who you are when they see you. And so if you always got a bad attitude, you might want to check and see if my bad attitude is really who I am and what I'm showing. Because how you show up. And so there are like some personality tests that I've talked about, that I've trained on, that you can take that will show you who you are. Who are you? Write that down. Who are you?
So what about those? Because I've met people that don't seem to know who they are. And meaning, in other words, they think they're friendly, but nobody else thinks they're friendly, right?
Mhm.
What is that like? Where it seems like people are unaware to not be self-aware.
A lot of that has to do, as we've been talking about all day. They got their soul wounded, and they have conditioned themselves to believe that everybody else is wrong but them. And so, if you
Mhm.
actually sit down and have a conversation, I've done, like I said, I've done some personality tests with some people based on
Mhm.
that, and those personality tests come back and they be like, no, 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 that's not me. How many folks say that is you? And when you start
Wow.
doing that type of record keeping, they realize that it is them. It is you.
Wow. That's yeah, I just had to end a friendship with somebody who was a narcissist. I mean, I've self-diagnosed as that they're a narcissist.
And you probably right, because you know the traits, right? You see the
Yeah,
traits.
yes. Do you know a little bit about narcissism?
Oh yeah, people who think they know everything. People
Right,
who are very much they are very hard to correct.
right.
They
Never
see the
wrong. They're
never
never
ever
wrong.
wrong. Mm-mm.
They won't apologize.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. And what I found out, and a lot of the stuff that I've done, especially when I worked with a lot of those people in the community, typically they are some of the most soul wounded people that we know. But because they've convinced themselves otherwise, they're hard to convince differently. But yeah, yeah.
Wow. I just have to say, this is so phenomenal. And you all tell me in the chat, is this so good? We want to bring her back. I don't want to take up any more of her time. I just asked her to jump on here because I wanted you all to get to know her. Because we're going to be doing some classes and some courses with her. And the Lord just told me to start introducing some of the people that are going to be ministering to you and serving you in different ways, so you know who they are. And so I hope that you all enjoyed this. And I want to say this, Yolanda, in my coaching class, because I so enjoyed our conversation here and last weekend. That's actually, the Lord gave me 7 questions that
Wow.
shift your life, and that's one of them. And that's exactly what I do. I tell them to try to push for 20 things to say, who am I? And
Wow.
that's both good and bad. Like, you got to know the good and the bad. If you don't know your bad, you don't know yourself.
Right.
Right, you that means that you don't have a clue to the thing. That means you can't improve on yourself if all you can say about yourself is what's good about you, but you don't know what you need to improve upon. That means you're not improving.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. That means you the same person that you walked into. You walked in the door one way and you leaving out the same way you came in. No difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I want to say that to those of you who want to take my coaching class. I do that. I do a deep dive with you, and I've had a lot of people. I mean, literally, even in their 50s and 60s, that were Yolanda couldn't answer that question. They couldn't answer, who am I, and the other 6 questions. And once you answer that, and most people don't take the time to do it. They don't take
No.
the time, to meditate and excavate all of those things, because that's your roadmap. That becomes your roadmap to where you improve yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to your confidence in what you do well and what God has given you. It is so important to do. So,
Yeah.
Yolanda, any closing thoughts and anything you want to say?
Yeah. And the only last thing I had to say was that when your soul is well, that's when God will use you more than you think. People think they're stuck because God is not trying to use them. No, when your soul is wounded, you wound other people. And God does not want us wounding other people. And so when you get your soul together, listen, God go open the door, because I can't even tell you how busy my life has been with my schedule, doing these classes, teaching, training, all because I did some soul work. I was like, okay, Lord, I see you.
Wow. And you know what? We had planned and already I had talked to Yolanda, and then I saw the man of God that Chicago had just had, Pastor Timothy Lane, which I love him. He just posted today, Yolanda. He said mental health is the next form of evangelism.
Wow.
I almost fell out of my chair. I said, God, this is what you told me, that we got to deal with this. Isn't that what I preached last week?
Listen, yes, that is exactly what you preached.
I said, God, I know I'm hearing you. And so, Liberty Nation, this is the time we deal with our souls. We deal with the jealousy. We deal with the divisiveness. We deal with the
Mhm,
envy. We deal with the low self esteem. We
mhm.
deal with all those things that a lot of the saints ignore, and we put a praise the Lord and hallelujah over it. Come on, we deal with the fact that you know you may not like me and you don't know why, or your sister or brother. Why? Come on. Do you know that when you just it's something about them. Like most of the time it's something about you don't like.
Yes. Yes,
See,
yes.
that's what we're trying to tell you. That when you just don't like people, usually it's because of something in you. Maybe they exhibit something that you wish you had, like
Yes.
confidence, or it could be beauty, or it could be whatever, and you're really internally upset with yourself. So
Mhm.
you project that on them and say, I don't like them. Are y'all with me? Are
I'm with
y'all ready
you.
to do some
I'm
soul
with
work,
you.
LIN? We're going to do some soul work, and we're going to reach out to our communities. I saw that, Apostle Marion. That was so powerful. I forgot my husband used to say, Yolanda, he would say the majority of God's people's problems are spiritual. I'm sorry, are mental and not
Yes.
spiritual.
Yes, yes, yes. That is one of the reasons why I got into this was because of my own self. I realized I know the word, I know the Lord, I know all of that, but Lord, why am I still out here jacked up?
Right.
What is
Why are
going
we still
on?
sad? Why can't we be happy? Why don't we have joy, saints? It's not because you don't have the Holy Ghost. It's
Mm-mm-mm.
because of something in your soul. Some of you have not experienced joy in a long time. Yes, Apostle said you can't cast out pain. You can't. You
You
got to
can't.
deal with it. Your soul has to be healed. God is calling for us to be healed, people of God. We're
Yes.
going to be dealing with our souls this year. This is going to be this is going to be one of our instructors that's well able. So again, thank you. I know we don't went over time. This
Oh,
has been
that's good.
so good.
This been
It's been
so good.
so
It's
good.
okay. It's okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
good.
Thank you so much. Again, their family, like she said, they call me Auntie Dar. And when I go to Cleveland, they just treat me so well. They treat me like a queen. And so I am so honored and thank you so much.
You so welcome, Auntie. Like as we say, anything for you.
Praise the Lord. So we'll be getting back to you, and we're looking forward to you teaching and training us and helping us get these souls together.
I
Because it's a
cannot
soul
wait.
thing. How many of y'all gonna get on the soul train? That's what I'm gonna call it, the soul train.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Yes, we need to, get the song. People all over the world, join
Yes.
hands, join this. Well, I'm gonna say join the soul train. That was the
Yes.
love train,
Join.
but okay, all right, all right then. Thank you, Yolanda.
You are so welcome. Thank you guys for letting me impart some things into you guys. It was so good.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Listen, for those of you who missed the front part, we talked about parenting. We talked about conflict management with kids. You're going to want to go back, especially if you got some teenagers and you raising some kids. She gave us some bombs. Now, I'm done raising kids. Okay. But that's why those of us, a lot of us who are grandparent age, that's why they say that grandparents is the time to do it all over again, right? For us to get it right. So I'm so excited about that. And I've really tried to incorporate and I think about my dad. Some of it is your maturity. You just start learning that the way we did some things, the way we picked up some things isn't the way to do things. Right. And so I think about how we know how our parents were so much nicer and so much more patient with our kids than they were with us, right? Well, they just knocked us out, and then but they seem to have gained some patience once our kids come along. And so this was just so awesome. So listen, These are some of the things that we're going to be doing this year. Again, we're going to be having these kind of classes and courses all over, of course, online, so we can reach people all over the world, but also some in-person things. And we're just gathering teams of people that are skilled and willed, that are trained, and that have been and learned in and certified in these areas to serve you. That's what this is about. That's what LIN is about. That's what LIN nights are about. So I hope that you enjoyed this. And I want to give you an opportunity right now to sow into LIN. You all know this is network night. Come on, Liberty Network. This is the one time a month that we ask everyone to sow at the same time at the beginning of the month to help us meet our obligations at the beginning of the month, as we all have our obligations. Those who can, we ask you to sow a $73 seed every month, and that helps us. And our goal is that everybody would do that so that we can delineate in all the things that we do, operational, administrative, but also our outreach and all of the things that we provide. For example, yesterday, our National Widows Association provided a phenomenal, did you hear me say phenomenal? Phenomenal Scribal workshop. For those of you who understand the Scribal anointing, it's beyond just being able to write. It's those of you who are so particular and meticulous, who have to have things organized, that things out of order just drive you nuts. She explained how that is something from God, what it means, the history behind it. She related it to the Bible. Yes, Deanna was there. It was so powerful. You will gain identity. I mean, she just blew my mind. And so she had my mind going, especially as a minister, because she is such a historian, and she tied in some of the history, like the Stone Age being part of Moses's realm versus the Iron Age being part of David's realm. And so it was such a powerful, explosive teaching. And we had an Emmy Award winning actress on there, where she explained to her that actors are scribes, because they take the words that somebody else writes and they interpret them. It was powerful, you all. So if any of you want to get that workshop, all you got to do is text Scribo. If you can put that on the other thing, I know we got the ticker going at the bottom, but if you can put Scribo on the top thing, Elder Mina, then we will send you that workshop. The workshop was free. Oh, okay, it's in the chat. It's in the chat. The workshop was free. And so those are some of the types of things. We had over 107 people register for that workshop. They didn't all show up yesterday, but we had over 107 people register. So everybody that registered is going to get that recording, because again, we want to offer things that everything doesn't have a cost. Now, I don't have a problem charging people. There's some things you need to pay for, but what we want to do, especially in our, we consider all these things part of our evangelism, because part of our evangelism is serving people, serving and helping them to get whole in their soul. So when you're giving to LIN, these are some of the things that you're helping us do, as well as of course, all the things we do for widows and building homes and giving and helping our local churches and our outreaches that we do. Okay, so this is the information. Text Scribo to 630-999-2078 if you want that course that we did yesterday. Again, no charge for that. Anybody who wants it, it's yours, because we want you to know who you are, and it's going to bring you great identity. But Liberty family, we can't do none of this without you. And we are about 6 months away from Holy Convocation. We got a lot to do. And I know that many of you, I've heard you all praying. We're doing things differently. We're not going to listen. We are in the overflow. Could you declare that with me? We're in the overflow. And so the overflow means that we have no lack. The Lord is our shepherd, and we shall not lack. So I thank you all for sowing that seed now. because I don't think I saw a lot coming through this morning. You all, your pastors should have, and I want you all to remind your pastors if they're not talking about Network Sunday on Sunday morning. I do understand that sometimes things get a little, busy, but Network Sunday is the time that we come together and we talk about the vision, we recast the vision, and then we support the vision, because I want everybody to hear this. When you support LIN, you are supporting particularly our focus. Yeah, because LIN isn't a church. The 8 locations are the churches, but LIN particularly focuses on what? Reaching the municipalities and the marketplace. And so that's why our agenda is a lot about your life, about helping people get skills, helping people get business opportunities, helping people get whole in their soul, helping people with mental health, helping people with marriages. Are y'all getting it? So a lot of what we offer, those things are not necessarily at every local church, but it's in the network. So every church has access to all that we need because we join together, and that is how we form this wonderful, glorious nation that helps us to grow, to expand naturally, spiritually, financially, but also emotionally and mentally and relationally and civically. Okay? All right. Come on, nation. We thank you so much. Okay, let me give you just a few quick announcements, and the information will stay at the bottom for those of you who need it. But let me tell you a few announcements. Okay, the first announcement. What is the first announcement? Just put something up there. Okay, making disciples. We are starting a network discipleship class, and this is for any and everybody. You don't have to be in our network. This is for all those people. There are so many people that I've been meeting in the stores. When I go places, they're like, I need a mentor. I want to learn the Bible. Guess what? And they don't even want to go to the church. They're not interested in being a part of the church. Well, guess what? We got a place that we're going to gather, and we're going to teach them how to walk through the Bible. There have been people who've been sitting in church their whole life, and they said, you know what? I really don't know how to study the Bible. I haven't been able to get through the Bible. Well, we're going to help them. So date to be determined. It's going to start in about 2 to 3 weeks, but it is going to be on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to be the main teacher, but I'm going to have some people helping me as well. But we're going to be getting to know Jesus and his word, making disciples, doing what God said. Listen, it's okay for us to teach you the prophetic, teach you the apostolic, teach you all this other stuff. But God said, what? Make disciples. And so that is what we're going to focus on, the Great Commission. And I just want to encourage each of you to, number one, be a disciple, but also make sure that you are discipling, especially if you're a seasoned Christian. You should have somebody next to you, my husband would say, that you have discipled. And so it's time for us to be the church and to be what God told us to be. And he doesn't just want us to be a powerful apostle, prophet, pastor, teacher, evangelist. Let's make sure that we're discipling, that in other words, that we're duplicating ourselves, and we want to be in alignment with the pattern of God. Okay. Next, help me out, elder. All right, so this is um a what is this? This is a how can I put it? For those of you who may be having health challenges or are interested in improving your health, I want you to text health now to 630-999-2078 for more information. But you know what? We need that email in the text. It's called this is it info, I think.com. This is it info.com. That's what I want you all to do. If you have aches, if you have pains, if you're suffering from any kind of ailments, we have connected with a phenomenal company and product that has amazing results, that was founded by a believer that got revelation from God from the book of Genesis, that created a $600 million company that's now in 84 countries, that has thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of documented testimonies about the this product and how it's improved people's health. And you see here, right here, that when taking this product, the first few days, 4,000 genes reset. Then within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. This is for those of us who may deal with memory loss and different things. I'm gonna ask. The website is in the feed. Within 3 months, your collagen level increase. Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. It is said it's not an anti-aging, it's age reversing technology that was given to a man of God. Somebody said this is similar to George Washington Carver. Some of you don't, I don't know if you know that history. He was a man of God, and he's the one that God gave. He said he would close the door and get before God, and God gave him 99 ways to use peanuts, and he got energy and all that kind of stuff from peanuts. This is the same type of thing that's going on here, but this is proven. Go to the website. I can't explain it all. Watch the videos. And then if you're interested past that, just text the number, text health now to 630-299, 630-999-2078. Because if you want to improve your health and you're interested beyond that, then we'll just get in touch with you. But I want you to just see and hear the testimonies. It just blew our minds. Some of our leaders, we were honored to meet some of the corporate executives, and it's just mind-blowing what God is doing with health and all kinds of ailments. Okay, so we can't have something like that and not share it with you. And so just read it, not read it, well, I guess you're gonna read it, the website. But again, go to the website, this is it info.com, and it'll tell you everything. You'll see what's going on. And then if you want information after that, then just text health now. Put that in the chat too. It's in there. Health now to 630-999-2078. I got my products on the way. I can't wait. Anything anti-aging, listen, I got my hands all the way up. Okay. All right. Next, we also have, we want to remind you about Holy Convocation registration. If you haven't registered and you plan on coming, I hope that's everybody that plan on coming. Could you please scan this right now? I know if you're watching on the phone, we need links. Yeah, put the links. The links are in the chat. It doesn't take any money to register. We need everybody that's coming to say you're coming, because we have a lot of outside people that are coming. And if you are late in registration, the first priority is going to be given to those who register and also take care of their activity fee. Okay, because the first main seats are 500 seats. Then after that, it'll be the overflow. And so Liberty Nation, we don't want you to get left out, because there are outside people that can't wait to come to Holy Convocation in sunny San Diego. All right. And don't forget your activity fee. We are looking for every month. We want at least 50 of you all to register every month. So if you can register this month, go ahead and do it. We have several links that if you can't do the whole thing, that you can at least do part of it. You can do it up to 4 payments. But if you can do the whole payment, we want you to do it. But remember, registering doesn't take any money. So if you're coming, your registration tells us we are coming, and we're looking on for those names that are coming. Secondly, pay the activity fee. Thirdly is the link to get your hotel. All right, next slide. We're almost done. Thank y'all for hanging with me. We need your help. We need your help. LIN family. Will there be a response to the registration? Also, I've already registered. Registration assignments. You should have, Christy, gotten a text to say we got your registration. So I don't, let me know if you got that. You should have got a text that we got your registration. If not, let us know and we'll check on that. Because yeah, we sent out, I believe a text was sent out to the people who that to acknowledge that we got the registration. But now we need those of you coming to help Liberty San Diego. They need help with marketing. So whatever you do, administration, outreach, finance, music, dancers, all of you all, we need your help. So email Samuel Anthony, LIN, at gmail.com. Email him, please, and say, I'll help in marketing, because we still need a whole lot more volunteers. All right. And so Liberty Nation, please do that. She said, I didn't receive a text. Okay. No, if we got you registered, you don't have to register again. We'll just send out the text again. Okay. All right. So if you know you registered, we'll send out a text again to verify that. So everyone, please pray about where you can help, because we need, she said, I volunteered, but okay, volunteering is a different communication. So we'll make sure that Samuel, please make a note of that for Sam, that Sam needs to respond to anybody who is registered, that we make sure that we have a registration for them. And then Elder, we probably need to do a text for that. Well, if we have that information, that we're letting them know that they that their response was received. Okay. All right. So thank you all for that. And then there's just a couple of quick things. There are opportunities, because again, we're always trying to help you in your home, in your business, help to save you money. If you're interested in ways to save money on your direct TV, on your let's say you have on your gas, on your phone, there are ways for you to do that, and also ways for you to help others do that. If you're interested in knowing how you can save money on the services that you have, then you can text, I think it's save, text the word save to 630-999-2078, and we'll send you more information. Again, we're not going to go into all that here, because again, we're just really want you that are interested and serious about saving money, doing getting your health straight, that then we'll send you the information. We're not going to just send it out to everybody. We want it to those who are really serious about improving their life, improving their health, improving their finances. Okay. So if that interests you in any way, we'll send you the information just for you to read and decide and see whether or not this can help you. And lastly, if you're interested in learning more about some business opportunities, if you've been asking God, okay, what can I do? I'm looking for some business opportunities. Or if you don't have a job right now, God is calling your name. There are a lot of things and a lot of partnerships that we have that you can help people. But let me explain this. The way that God has led us as a network is that we're always looking to partner with and a lot of our partners are believers, and we're looking to partner with things that'll help improve people's lives. And so we have some businesses that help improve people's life, to help them save money, to help them with their health, to help them with so many different things, to help you get passive income, all of that. And so we have a wide range of things that if you're interested in even picking up another stream of income in any way, or just doing business full blown, and you want to know those opportunities as they come, then you get on our list, and we will tell you when we have a seminar, a webinar with all of these business partners and business people. This is what I'm going to say to you all. Let me give you my testimony. Okay. When my husband died, I had a lot of things that fell through the cracks. right? When he died. Because when he died, a lot of support went away. And quite honestly, the support period uh doesn't look the way, of course, that it looked when he was here, because everybody doesn't support the same way when people, when certain people go away, right? And so I had to look for ways to supplement my income and to make sure that I had what I needed. And so the Lord began to show me, and I began to dig, and I asked God to show me the partnerships, because I understand that real success comes through partnership. The kingdom comes through partnership. And I have spent, now my husband's gone 6 years, these last 6 years, cultivating a lot of relationships, getting on a lot of planes, going to oh my God, I can't even count how many webinars and Zooms I've been on, vetting out different things, even have lost money, so I can vet out opportunities and people, so I can bring them to you. I take the risk first. And so these things are done by love, but also by necessity. And so I've been able to do that. So now I get some passive income. I have checks that come every month without me having to do, I made an investment. And so I'm creating a whole world where I get checks passively, right? And then now I'm building some things that I do have to do a little bit more work. But the whole point is that I'm creating a world that is not dependent on anything and anyone. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? And listen, this is what I'm talking to some of you all. You better not depend on just your check and your job. Can I warn you all? This economy is going in all kinds of crazy directions. And all it takes is your job laying you off. I am telling you, people of God, you want to begin to have something that is in your control, because it's not in your control on your job. All they got to do is give you a pink slip. Okay. So I just want to encourage you all that think I'm not a business person to start listening. So I want to encourage you again, put that up there. Business, text business 6309, because you just listen to some of these businesses and see, like, no, I don't want to do that. Now, you know what? It might be one thing that, you know what? I want to do that because that's a passion for me. And these are all businesses that are really service oriented. And for me, there are things that I want to see people get their lives back and include and improve their quality of life. Okay. And so you'll get the information. And that's all. When you text we break it up, because if you don't want the health information, we're not going to send you the health information. We're going to send you, that's why we break it up. So if you want health, we're going to send you health, and that's all that you're going to get. If you want business, you got to text for business, and we'll send you that. Okay. All right. All right, you all. I love you. I hope y'all enjoyed network night. It's been phenomenal. I can't wait for Yolanda to come back, and you're going to meet some more of our instructors and some of the things that we're going to be doing. Don't forget about the discipleship class. For those of you who know you need to, God has dealt with you about upping your Bible study and coming to another level in Him. We're going to come on, join us, because we're going to have a ride in the Word. All right, listen, I love you all dearly. I thank you. Pray for me. Continue to pray for this network. Pray for our unity. Pray for the Spirit of God and the glory of God. Pray over a holy convocation. Pray over every location and every leadership. Pray for the overflow. This is the year of the divine. Expect divine communications, divine establishment. I decree divine doors to open for you even on this week. Divine resources. Listen, for some of you who you're thinking you don't know how you're going to get the convocation, you're going to get there because divine resources are coming. But be open, because again, some of these divine resources, I was telling them this morning, you pray for a forest, God give you an acorn. It's something you might have to do, and you might have to plant, which might be a business, or it's faith without works is dead. So you got to be listening and alert to what you're going to need to do in order for that forest to come to pass. All right. But this is going to be the very best year of your life. I keep hearing E.R. Allen say, this will be your finest hour. We need to pray over America. There's a lot of things going on. I think we're going to post some things on the page, some prophetic words that I really need you all to hear, because there are a lot of serious things going on in this world. So let's not sleep, LIN family. We need to pray. We need to pray over our network, our leadership, I'm talking about America's leadership as well. There's a lot of demonic activity in the spirit realm, and we must wake up. We cannot just be focused on ourselves, but we want to get these things solid so that we can stay focused on the kingdom of God. All right. God bless you. I love you. I love spending this time with you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. And I'm going to say what my husband used to say. And remember, the only battles you lose are what? The ones you choose not to fight. And you're going to fight, right? All right. I'll see you later.
Psalm 104 declares, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and enter his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth, it endures to all generations. Come on, let's sing to the Lord. Songs of reverence unto our King, raising our voice in one accord. In his presence, lifting our voice. We will rejoice and we will sing songs of reverence unto our King, raising our voice in one accord. In his presence, lifting our voice. Jesus. That's what we want to do. Enter his courts with praise. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. For his mercy endures forever.